All right, ma'am, I would please request you to stay on with me. I would, of course, like to go across now to Mr. Shekhar Vijayan, who's a journalist. Of course, sir, now Baramati was the pocket borough of the Pawar family, and it's a place where, of course, Ajit Pawar shaped his future. But it's also tragic in the sense that this is the exact place from where his career began, and then this is that exact same place where he also lost his life. Now, coming to the current situation in Maharashtra, do you think that that his death, of course, will have some sort of an effect on the Mahayuti government in Maharashtra? But with that, in your opinion, what are some of the immediate effects that his death could have in do you think there's going to be some sort of an instability in this current government, or this situation will of course remain stable for the time being?
Meta, thank you for having me over. I think first up I want to express my condolences to the Pawar family, also to Captain Sumit Kapoor, Shamli Pathak, Pinky Mali, Vidit Jadhav. All these innocent lives were lost in this very dastardly plane crash which happened yesterday. Like you asked me this question, I think one thing which this death would do, would unify all the factions together. I believe he was a local hero. He was the son of the soil, Ajit Pawar ji, and the way he's come up in terms of grassroots politics under the tutelage of his uncle Sharad Pawar, in terms of handling different governments together, very adaptable, very resourceful, and understanding different management styles, different leadership styles. I think that's really worked in the late Ajit Pawar's favor. And if I was just watching the images on your TV channel of people, coming in and expressing the grief. There were people crying, there were people mourning, there were people feeling so, and the messages were so heartfelt. It just goes to show the kind of image he had, the kind of connection he had with people, the way he connected with them, the way he worked with them, the way he helped them achieve their aspirations. This is a void which is very tough to fill. In terms of what Dada did in terms of Ajit Pawar. Now, what can also happen here is, because of what's happened in the past in terms of elections, this could unify the whole family together. We've seen them, consoling each other during this heartfelt moments, and it's a very, very sorry sight to see that. I don't think that should happen to anyone. And when you see that, you also see there is a moment here where they could all unify together. It will not affect the present government, but I think what's really important here is how does the party come back strong from here? If you look at it politically, obviously under his image, under his persona, it's always been about grassroots politics. It's always been about different leadership styles. It's always been about grooming your next leaders. So this dastardly death of not just Ajit Pawar, but also all the people on the flight. It's a reminder to everyone that life is very uncertain. That's right. But I think what's also important is how do you develop the next level of leadership here, and that's what is really going to happen here now, because the family has understood that very well, and I think the government has also taken enough steps to ensure that. With the way if we see what we see right now in terms of on-ground reality, in terms of people coming in large numbers, to see the last remains of Ajit Pawar ji, it just goes to show that he had a popularity which was beyond imagination. I have a lot of friends from Maharashtra who speak very highly of him, who are from Baramati, who spoke about what they felt. There were many of them who were speechless yesterday when this incident happened. So it just goes to show that there are so many leaders like this who come from grassroots politics, and he's just one of them. It's obviously it's very sad, it's very horrific, very heartfelt, and I think for the government, which is the Maharashtra government, they're doing what they do right in terms of winning elections, and it will not affect them in many ways, but I think it will only unite the Pawar family. Death and grief might just bring them together, and which is always good, because a unified front is always good in terms of a strong opposition. I think that's what is really going to happen.
All right, sir, I would please request you to stay on with me. I'm also being joined by Advocate Chandni Preeti Shah, a political analyst on this broadcast. Ma'am, of course, Ajit Pawar, of course, was he died yesterday in that very tragic plane crash. Now, coming on to the future of the Nationalist Congress Party, do you perhaps think that going forward there's going to be some sort of a reconciliation within the party, or do you think there's going to be a further fragmentation in the party? What exactly do you think lies next for this political party?
Firstly, I would like to pay my respect to Mr. Ajit Pawar ji and his family, and my deepest condolences to his family, to the families of Vidib Jadhav, to Pinky Mali, Sumit Kapoor, and Shambhavi Pathak. It was a very, very untimely death that struck these people yesterday, and it is a tragedy that the entire nation is mourning about. Something that should not have happened, something that it was Mr. Ajit Pawar was 85, but he was as strong as a 30-year-old. He was so strongly standing on the ground. Um, um, so it's really it's hard to digest yet, and especially for Maharashtra as a state, because he was a mass leader from Maharashtra, a leader who was a no nonsense leader, who would say if it's a yes, it's yes, a no, then a no. About your question, I think it is too soon to say anything. And right now, as even Raj Lakshmi ji said, that it's not the right time to even think about these questions. But if you because we are into a debate, and because this is very much related to politics right now. I think sooner than later, the merger of NCP is expected, and I think it will join the NDA. Of course, the person who was leading the plan for this merger is no longer amongst us. But now it is in the hands of Ms. Supriya Sule and Sunetra Pawar to lead the legacy ahead, to take the legacy ahead. I also expect Mr. Praful Patel to play a much bigger role in this. And sorry, I just made a mistake ahead that Ajit Pawar is 85. He was 66 years old. Mr. Sharad Pawar is 85 years old. So I guess that is the reason it is now in the hands of Ms. Supriya Sule and Sunitra Pawar to take this ahead. I think both factions may merge together and join NDA. Ms. Supriya Sule might come in as the union leader, and Sunetra Pawarji or any other leader might come in as the deputy CM in Maharashtra. This is my take on how the political side would look after this horrific accident. But right now, I think we should just pay our homage and pay our respects to these families who have been mourning the loss of the lives, the entire country and the state of Maharashtra. Our condolences with all of them. Thank you.
All right, ma'am. With that, I would like to go across to Miss Raj Lakshmi Joshi, ma'am. Of course, we know that there was a split in the NCP. You had the Sharad Pawar faction, and you also had the Ajit Pawar faction. But the fact remains that despite all of this, was it not that despite all of this, the Pawar family was still very close knitted, and they had that sort of respect for each other, cutting across this division that existed.
Yes, definitely. You have to remember that politics is different, and family and friends, all of that is different. Even across party lines, most politicians, they do share a good rapport with other politicians. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if you're across the ideological divide, it doesn't mean that you have to be enemies. So it's like it's a difference in opinion, it's a difference in ideology, but that doesn't mean that they're enemies. So they did share a good bond. So if you have seen, in some previous festivals maybe, or I think during the some birthday celebrations of Sharad Pawarji, Ajit Pawarji, definitely he was a part of the family celebration, and the entire family had come together. So all of that, they definitely shared a good bond. So, and now even during the municipal corporations in Pune, they all of them, they had come together. So they were facing the elections together. It's a different fact that they were not able to find much success in those elections, in the municipal corporation elections that were held recently, but they did share the stage together. If you have seen Ajit Pawarji and Supriya Suleji, they did hold joint press conferences, and they raised a lot of issues together. So all of that was there. So, but apart from that, when it came to being a part of the NDA, or when it came to the different factions, then they were definitely on opposing sides, and they opposed each other vehemently when it came to politics. So you could have different opinions, you could have different ideologies, but at the same time, you could still be a part of the same family, strange as it may sound. So a lot of people are not able to understand this, but this is how things work. So this, I think, it definitely makes it easier for both the factions to come together, because they have been a part of the same party, and they have been under the same leadership. But it is a big achievement, I would say, of sorts for Ajit Pawarji, that he was able to take away some tall, stellar leaders from under the nose of Sharad Pawarji, and he was able to find or create his own identity from under the shadows of Sharad Pawarji. Sharad Pawarji is a tall leader, 85 years old, and he still commands so much respect and attention, not just from his own party, but from political parties, across all ideologies. So, from under his nose, if Ajit Pawarji was able to create such a huge uh, identity for himself, and he was able to take away such a huge faction, and then the issue of the symbol and the name of the NCP. So it was a huge ironical achievement, I would say, of sorts. And at the same time, I think that he definitely had it in mind that he wanted to bring both the factions together. So all of these issues were definitely there, and I'm sure that all his party leaders and the leaders on the Sharad Pawar faction, they would also want to come together, because, like I said, they don't see too much of a future for themselves, especially the Sharad Pawar faction right now, because you have seen that the performance has only been declining. So I don't think that they have too much of a future by themselves. So they would definitely want to come back together, and at the same time maybe join hands with the NDA, because otherwise, right now, they don't have too much of a future for themselves. So politically, if they're smart, and also it is quite easy for them, because they don't have too many different ideologies. They were part of the same family, part of the same party. So it's only a natural coming together, I would say.
All right, ma'am. With that, I would like to go across to Mr. Shekhar Vijayan once again, sir. Of course, now with this, there's some sort of a vacuum within the party. Who do you think will take over the reins of this party? Is it going to be perhaps Sharad Pawar's sons? Is it going to be his wife Sunetra? Or do you think it's all going to come back, of course, to Sharad Pawar and then subsequently his daughter Supriya Sule?
Yeah, like you just mentioned, there is a huge leadership vacuum here, because you're talking about a leader who is at the grassroots level, who understood Maharashtra politics pretty well, and with his laws, which is a huge void, for the party, it will be very tough to replace it. And having said that, Sharad Pawar is somebody who's arguably one of the most astute politicians of India, and everyone knows how combative and how good he is at what he does. I think it's for him to come in as a thespian and to hold reins of the party, because if they don't do that, things can also go astray very quickly. Because people also do vote not just on emotions, they also vote on development. So I think what's going to be really important here is Sharad Pawar coming in and taking control of the party. And they do have a lot of young leaders also within the party itself. Like we spoke about Supriya Sule, you've got Praful Patel. I think it's a very important that they hold all these factions together. They all come in together as a unified unit. And like I said earlier, I think it's too early to talk about this, because right now I think the entire family is going to be grieving the loss of somebody who they're very close to. Politics aside, I think what's important is Maharashtra has lost, especially India has lost someone who's grown from the grassroots level, someone who's understood Maharashtra politics very well, and someone who knows what does it take to win. So I think this discussion will happen in terms of who will replace him, what's the legacy going to be like, and this is going to be the true test of leadership for a political party, not just I would say this party or any other party in India. If as and when a death like this happens, an untimely death, happens, you will have a leadership vacuum. I think what is very important is for people coming in together, for people to stay united, for people to strategize and understand what are the capabilities and what are the strengths. And I think and that's where a thespian like Sharad Pawar can really make a difference. Yes, he's 85 years old, but what's also important is he knows the party like the back of his hand. And both the uncle and the nephew, were obviously very close to each other. And when they were together, used to follow everything what uncle used to say. So I think that shows the close bond, the close relationship they had. And that's going to be strengthened now, post what's happened in the last 24 hours.
All right, with that, I would like to go across to Advocate Chandni Preeti Shah. Ma'am, of course, now Baramati shaped Ajit Pawar's rise under the towering influence of his uncle Sharad Pawar. And do you think now with the loss, Baramati, of course, was the home turf of Ajit Pawar as well. Will this, in a way weaken the party in this region, as well as, if we say Western Maharashtra, in a way?
I don't think this will weaken the party in this region. I mean, as I said, Mr. Ajit Pawar was more popular in the common people, right? So when when it comes to the loyalty of people, especially people who have worked on the grassroots, as Mr. Shekhar said, he has worked at the grassroots level, connected with the people. So for some period of time at least, I do not see that loyalty going anywhere. Yes, it might
Ma'am,
change.
if you could just give me a moment, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Of course, we have Supriya Sule, who's at the funeral site. You can see these visuals on the air. Of course, his funeral is set to take place today. A lot of party leaders are present. We know that Sharad Pawar has already reached the funeral site. Now we can also see Supriya Sule is at the funeral site as well. She's seen interacting with the crowd that is present there, I think. In order to honor the leader that Ajit Dada Pawar really was. Back to you, ma'am. If you could just please complete your thoughts.
Yes, sure. So, as I was saying, that in the future, we don't know how the leadership would take turn in the NCP. But currently, this is a huge loss to the family, to the entire state of Maharashtra. And as I said, the loyalty of the people for some period of time will stand with, Ajit Pawarji, whether, he was there with them, he's not there with them in the future. But right now, I do not see that, because, this we are talking about politics. We are talking about the people, the common people who have seen him working, on the ground for them, making way for them through politics, bringing a lot of facilities for them through politics, through his presence in the politics. So this is not something that people forget very easily, especially in Maharashtra, especially in rural urban areas or in rural areas. The loyalty of them is not something that is so easily vanished or easily evaporated. It will change, it might change, it might not change, but even if it changes, it will only be because of the way the next leadership takes it ahead, the way they are taken care of or not taken care of in the future. So as I see that, uh, how I see this is, even Mr. Ajit Pawar, he was like once upon a time, Chhagan Bhujbal ji was a top leader of NCP when Sharad Pawar was very much busy with national politics. He was leading in Maharashtra. But with Ajit Pawar, he was more popular amongst the MLAs, amongst the Karyakartas, amongst the common people. He rose through the ranks, and moved ahead, and he became the president of NCP. The best part of Mr. Ajit Pawarji was that he was very easily accessible. He was very straightforward in nature, and people were very dear to him, and he was very dear to the people.